Hello world. I hope you guys can hear me okay and can maybe hear the music. We'll see how this is rolling. Today we're gonna start on chapter 61. Try to get through to 65. That's the plan anyway. But you know what they say about plans, so we'll kind of play it by ear. If I feel good, we can go a little bit longer. If my voice starts to give out a little bit sooner, then we'll do that too. So we'll just have to see. Just gonna move this over. Okay, I think you guys should be able to read all of it. Okay, I think. I hope. Chapter 61. The Fool That Doesn't Belong to This Era, the mysterious ruler above the grey fog, king of the yellow and black who wields good luck. Audrey Hall recited the three descriptions to herself silently. She suddenly felt a tumultuous wave of emotion go through her, preventing her from maintaining her spectator state. As an aficionado of mysticism, she had learned Hermes that was used in rituals, and attested the rituals that fellow noble aficionados mentioned in private gatherings. Before she was pulled into the grey fog or made formal contact with Beyonder powers, none of those rituals had any effects, but they had given Audrey a basic understanding of the structure of incantations. Thus she knew what these three incantations described and signified. The descriptions usually described one of the 7 gods that overlooked this world. Thus, the Fool's incantation was claiming equal status to the Lady of Crimson, Mother of the Secrets, and the Empress of Disaster and Horror. Is Mr. Fool the unknown, mysterious, powerful, godlike entity the client spoke of? The source of danger that we must avoid in rituals? Audrey quickly recalled the comments that made the strange rituals which she and her friends did not dare attempt back then. She was momentarily at a loss for words. Interesting username. I will try to figure out what the reason was. Yeah. I will have a look in a little bit to see what the reason you didn't get a notification was. Sorry about that, bud. Alger Wilson, who knew and understood much more than Audrey. Hey, Mari, how you doing? Alger Wilson, who knew and understood much more than Audrey, shivered from the bottom of his heart. If the ritualistic magic which Mr. Fool designed truly points to him to allow him to accept our requests, we would have to be addressing with him. He is to be addressed in the third person, which is reserved for gods. How lucky, how smart. I was able to act in concert with him and not do anything foolish. Even when I was testing him, I did not step beyond the boundaries of normalcy. Oh, interesting. So, username. So when you say you didn't get a notification, I assume you mean through YouTube then? If it alerted you on Discord? I'm wondering if it only, no, it did. Oh, it didn't ping you on Discord. I see. Okay. Interesting. I will have to check on that. As Romero can attest, I'm very not used to Discord, so my level of proficiency there is limited. But I'll have a look, and I'll also have him look in a little bit as well. Sorry, I'm gonna try getting through a little bit. Could he perhaps be an ancient, mysterious, horrifying existence? only that he does not appear before us in his true form and name, the primordial demoness, the hidden sage, or the true creator, which many mysterious churches believe in? Audrey understood that the fool he was looking at now might not be his true form. He might not even have a gender or be a humanoid creature. Klein propped his forehead up with one hand and tapped on the table with the other. He acutely noticed the changes happening to the hanged man in justice, but he acted as though nothing happened, as if everything was within his expectations. He continued without any care. I pray for your help. I pray for your loving grace. I pray for you to give me a good dream. Moonflower, a herb that belongs to the red moon, please bestow your powers to my incantation. Fingered citron, an herb that belongs to the sun, please bestow your powers to my incantation. Probably just glitching, or my phone. That could be. But either way, I'll definitely take a look once I'm done today to make sure the notification should be going out as intended. But how you guys doing today? He finished describing the incantations that belonged to another type of ritual. After he was done, he smiled. Lady, sir, have you memorized it? Audrey exhaled. She quickly covered her mouth and recalled seriously. With her improved memory as a spectator, she quickly processed the information and repeated the incantations as a form of confirmation. Alger acted more normally. His pen did not stop for a moment, no matter what he was thinking about. After Klein confirmed that Audrey was correct, he smiled and said, "If this test is successful, then we shall modify the ritual next time to achieve what we want to do. I hope that you will have the time to complete the ritual no later than Wednesday." He intended to come in here again on Thursday night to ascertain if the ritualistic magic was successful. As for why he did not allow the hanged man in justice to directly request a leave of absence, Klein was worried that he would be unable to discern if the results were from them asking for a leave or merely the outcome of an attempt of the ritualistic magic. Was he to pull them in from the gathering if that happened? By your will, Audrey and Alger replied respectfully, collecting themselves. At this point, they're probably terrified of this man, not understanding that he's probably weaker than they are at this point. According to the hanged man's suggestion last week, we shall have a time for casual conversation after all the official issues have been discussed. Who shall begin? Klein gave a gesture signaling for someone to start. I'm doing well too, Mari. Thank you for asking. As I put in the chat, I went to my uni and then realized my classes were canceled. My professor emailed us like 4 minutes before classes started. What a joke. So I drove there and then basically drove back. Audrey sighed and said, "Mr. Fool, the suggestion you made regarding the exam selection and the separation between civil and political matters has received the approval of many members of parliament. Perhaps it could even become a reality. Of course, with the efficiency of the government, the bill will only appear half a year from now at the earliest." She was not worried that the hanged man would track her down using this piece of information. She had intentionally and intermittently dropped hints and guided those proud wives to think it was their idea. Those ladies had rushed to tell their husbands, their fathers, and their brothers. At that moment, Audrey felt as though she was watching a flock of golden peacocks showcasing their tail feathers. Oh, that's so cute. By the way, can one of you, when you have a second, let me know if, one, you can hear me okay, and two, can you hear the music in the background? Can you, one, hear it at all? Is it too quiet? Is it too loud? Anything like that? And if you can see this, and if you can read what I'm reading, hopefully fully. I moved it around, so I think it should be okay, but someone externally can confirm, that'd be great. She believed that those women would drill it in themselves that they came up with the idea to claim the glory for themselves. They would soon forget what Audrey's role in the matter was, fighting amongst themselves to see who thought of the suggestion first. It's so funny how she says like, oh, it was my idea and I won't get credit for it, when in reality it was technically Klein's idea and she's not giving him credit, so she's doing like the very thing she's accusing them of doing, which is very funny. Turn down the music a smidge. Will do. Give me 1 second. Hopefully that's a little better. As for the beat, I just have it on a playlist, so that'll cycle through. But if it's something that's like too annoying or you can't hear me well over, let me know. I can always change it, of course. Using this remarkable way to change the system of a kingdom gave Audrey a weird sense of satisfaction, as if she had found a way for a spectator to influence the plot of a play. Let's hope so, Audrey replied sarcastically. He clearly doesn't give a shit at all. He paused for a few seconds, then glanced at the fool. He deliberated before saying, in recent decades, the amount of activities of the various secret organizations has seen an upward trend. In fact, there are even new secret organizations appearing. Some of them have reached scale with a good number of beyonders. Are you trying to ask me for a reason? I have not even gained access to information about illegal organizations. Klein merely smiled without commenting on the hangman's news. He changed the subject and said vaguely, an ancient power is about to wake from its slumber. Okay, this motherfucker is just making shit up. He has no clue. He's like, I just gotta get him off my back, basically. For example, the power represented by the indigenous family diary. Is that so? Alger muttered to himself silently, as though he recalled something. Klein swept his gaze towards the hanged man, then past Justice and said with a smile, if there is nothing else to share, then let's end today's gathering here. By your will. Audrey and Alger stood up together. Klein moved his fingers and severed his connection with the red dark stars. He watched as the two figures vanished from the magnificent palace. He stood up and turned towards the chair, which was also the back of the seat of honor at the bronze table. He looked at its symbol. The radiant stars... I just lost where I was. Hold on. Radiant stars formed a strange symbol. It was not a symbol that fit anything in Klein's present understanding of mysticism. He observed it closely before identifying the pupil-less eye, a symbol representing secrecy. He also saw contorted lines that represented each. Each of the symbols were missing a portion and were overlapped with each other, creating a new symbol. Like, unironically, the Illuminati. An incomplete secret and an incomplete change. What do we get when we add them together? Klein creased his brows and muttered to himself, unable to come up with an answer. He retracted his gaze and walked along the ancient, magnificent palace. His eyes scanned every corner of the palace. Back then, when I casually imagined this place, it was merely a rough concept. Did I not describe the shape of the palace, tables, or chairs? Where did this design come from? The best choice? The first prototype? Or are they a reflection of reality? Klein suddenly had a question he'd neglected previously as he looked at the palace. I have to say that even though I'm a keyboard warrior, I am lacking experience in many areas. I am also not observant enough to the point of only realizing this question now. With such a self-reflection, Klein made a serious effort to examine every corner of the palace, but did not find any other living things or anything strange. Klein did not dare to venture deeper. which seemed to be an illusory land without boundaries. He was afraid that he would end up completely lost. Well, why is he so scared? Isn't he the one who brought himself here and he can just go back anytime? Why is he so scared? Interesting. I mean, I'm being a little facetious. I do get why, but Wow, this place is indeed filled with mysteries. Who knows if there will be any changes to this area when I become powerful? Klein sighed. He unleashed his spirituality and enveloped himself within, causing him to feel a rapid rush of plummeting. Everything flew past quickly. All kinds of illusions shattered. He tore through the grayish-white fog and saw reality. He saw the tables, curtains, and clothes rack in his room. Blacklund, Empress Burrow. Audrey saw the oil painting that hung on the wall. She felt the softness the down-feathered pillow under her bed provided. Under her head provided, not under her bed, sorry. She did not stand up immediately. Instead, she seriously recalled what had happened during the gathering, as if she was watching a play she had already seen. Mr. Fool had a certain confidence in his tone when he told us to try the ritual and gave us the descriptions of the mysterious ruler. The King of the Yellow and Black. Confidence. Audrey exhaled as she was analyzing this silently. Her body shuddered slightly. Forget it. Since I cannot fight it, there's no need to think too much about it. Mr. Fool has always appeared friendly. He should be an entity that has a respect for order. Audrey's mood improved slightly. She thought about her acting and weakened backlash of the potion. She hummed a merry tune and got off her bed. She walked towards the door and adjusted her state of mind, taking on her state as a spectator. He really is a good actor. The fact that he's been able to get away with it for this long without having been either just caught as either an idiot or something weird altogether is kind of impressive. Because he, unironically knows nothing. He has to kind of vaguely hide from, even the Nighthawks to, what he is. And he's doing okay. Everyone seems to like him, respect him. He's doing pretty good. As she opened the door of the room, she saw a maid walking past. She saw the old calluses on her hands, the marks on her face, and other similar details. She could deduce many things from these observations. At this point, Audrey had a strange feeling. She quickly turned to see the shaded corner of the balcony. She saw her golden retriever, Susie, sitting there, silently observing her, just like how she observed the maid. Oh, that's so funny. I was wondering what they were going to do with the dog. Okay, it's good to know the dog doesn't die. That's a relief, jeez. My goodness. Audrey's lips twitched as she sighed. She wanted so much to hide her face. On the Sonia Sea, in the heavily protected captain's quarters, Alger woke up and noticed that nothing had changed around him. It was as if nothing had happened. He sighed and thought to himself, an ancient existence? Hey, Dr. Z, how you doing, bud? Klein, who had exited the ritual, pulled up the curtains, took out his notebook, and began reading once again. He recalled the contents of Emperor Roselle's diary, hoping to reinforce the memory through writing and preventing himself from forgetting it in the future. Klein reread the notes several times after he finished writing. Finally, he tore up the notes and incinerated them. We live for that golden retriever. Based. I shouldn't forget the most salient points. If I do this once a week, but with time and increasing complexity of my missions, how unfortunate. I do not have better ideas for the time being. I have not learned any cryptography. Klein collected himself and stretched his neck. He planned on heading to the divination club. A seer was defined differently by different people. No one could say that one person's methods were wrong, so Klein, who did not know which kind of seer fit the requirements of the potion, could only correct it as he experimented to ascertain which he was the best fit. Alright, that's chapter 61 done. Sorry about that, guys. I just needed a drink of water. Chapter 62, The Seer's Suggestion. Oh, by the way, can one of you just let me know if you can see the screen okay and the text okay? Just want to make sure, because I noticed when I was watching back the first stream that it was cut off from the right side. Just want to make sure you guys can see it this time. Before Klein left home, he took the time to meticulously clean up his suit and top hat with a small brush and a handkerchief. Then he washed his white shirt, changing into a similar linen shirt along with the only decent cheap coat he had. Wait, why is he not wearing his suit? Oh, like coat, as in like a winter coat. I see. Okay, I thought it meant like a jacket, sorry. He then briskly walked out onto the street. First, Melissa's dress, then Benson's suit. Only then can I consider a second suit for myself. Money is never enough. Truer words, my friend, truer words. Besides, we need to save money to buy porcelain tableware for our guests. Plus, I have to save money to buy a variety of materials related to mysticism. Klein sat on the public carriage and took note of the financial status at home. The more he did the math, the more he shook his head. He reckons he needed at least a year to let himself, his brother, and his sister live as a middle-class family. It's not in the center. Interesting. Let me see if... interesting. Okay, I'm gonna center it for me, and I'm curious if it centers it for you guys too, because I feel like when I centered it for me the first time, you guys weren't able to see the right end of it, so I'm gonna center it for me just for a few minutes. Let me know if that kicks it out or does something weird, and then I can try adjusting it a little bit later. Of course, that was without taking promotions and pay raises into consideration. The public carriage drove past the streets and stopped opposite to the Divination Club on Hoves Street. Whatever. Klein pressed down on the black top hat and hopped off the carriage. He walked along the familiar street and entered the club located on the second floor. He then saw the beautiful brunette Angelica. There was a hint of swelled redness to her eyes, but she looked extremely relaxed. Klein raised his hand to tap his glabella lightly and carefully examined her. He found that the grayness deep in Angelica's emotional colors had greatly dispersed. It had been replaced with sun-like whiteness. So I'm assuming the swelled redness means she had been crying, but he mentioned before that she should let out her emotions, so I assume she's like feeling better because she's emoted a little bit, something approximating that. A little to the left. Let's try that. Let me know if that's a little bit better. Now it's cut off. That's what I was afraid of. Okay. I'm gonna try this. Hopefully that's close enough to what it should be for you guys. If not, I'll let me know if it's okay, and then I can try figuring it out and post a little bit more. More left, really? How's now? Okay. I'm gonna assume that's good username. Now it's okay. Fantastic. Okay. Good. I will, once I'm done, I will take a snippet of it so I remember how to set it now for future reference. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. After taking it in, Klein walked over and took off his hat and smiled. Madam Angelica, it's a lovely day today, isn't it? Angelica lifted her head and was briefly shocked. She then beamed and said, "You are just like Mr. Vincent's cat. You don't make any sounds while walking, do you? You managed to tell? I forgot that you were a fortune teller skilled in face reading." She paused, then she gently good lord, I can't talk. She paused, then she gently bit her lip before bowing. Thank you for your suggestion yesterday. I feel much better. I haven't been this relaxed, happy, and contented in a year. Upon hearing her show her sincere gratitude, Klein was infected with the joy and happiness she had. The corner of her lips lifted, and he said, "It's my pleasure." As he spoke, he could feel his spirituality relax and turn livelier. Is this what the Seer potion wants? A seer that can really help the inquirer? Klein pinched his glabella as though he was thinking before he secretly tapped it twice. It had to be said that he found the actions of activating and deactivating his spirit vision in practice insufficiently inconspicuous. However, the problem was that he hadn't thought of a better solution yet. As he had just become a seer recently, his spirituality had yet to reach its limit, and the same was applied to his mastery. Hence, there hadn't been many suitable locations for an activation switch. For his spiritual vision, the glabella was by far the best. I don't know, why not make it just like simple, like tapping like your middle finger to your index finger, or like tapping your middle finger to your thumb twice or something. I feel like that'd be so much more inconspicuous, but what do I know? When I become a true seer after fully digesting the potion, I should be able to design a more inconspicuous activation motion. Klein nodded unnoticeably and walked towards the half-open meeting room. "Coffee or tea?" Angelica asked hurriedly. "Desi coffee," Klein answered. He planned on trying out all the drinks the Divination Club had to offer. Then he saw that there were 6 or 7 members present, but not Hannes Vincent, who almost always was. "Mr. Vincent isn't here?" Klein stopped in his tracks and asked a passing question. Angelica was taken aback as she said, "Mr. Vincent doesn't come every day. He accepted an invitation to lecture for a divination organization in Enmat Harbor. Are you looking for him?" "Not at all. I was just curious. After all, I've seen him every time I've come here." Klein shook his head with a smile. Meanwhile, he realized that there was a familiar face among the 7 members present. Glasses, who had divined for him before, was present. Glasses was reading some information on the table with his monocle when he suddenly sensed someone was looking at him. He lifted his head and cast his gaze. Obvious joy sufficed his face when he propped himself up with both hands and stood up. He dashed towards Klein and stopped before him. "Good afternoon, Mr. Moretti. I have been wondering if you would come today. I heard from Angelica that you are not a doctor, but a fortune teller who is good at face reading." Klein smiled. If you think about it, people rub their eyebrows when frustrated. Oh yeah, I guess that's kind of true. Yeah, that's not. Yeah. Still, I feel like just like tapping like your middle finger to your thumb twice would just be like a really quick, really inconspicuous thing. Or maybe like, tapping your feet twice or something. Monocle, yes, funny, very funny, guys. Klein smiled. "That's not the only thing I'm good at, Mr. Glasses. You no longer seem plagued by your ailment." He pinched his forehead and tapped his glabella twice. He noticed that Glasses' health colors had returned to normal. "Yes, I was very regretful for not taking your suggestion back then. Luckily, there is a very amazing apothecary near my table. Near my table? What? Near my place. He gave my wife a magical medicine which brought me away from death," Glasses said emotionally. I am like betting money that the fact that this apothecary has been mentioned twice means that they're also a beyonder. Like, I think I would bet money. Oh wait, hold on. Okay. I promise I didn't cheat. I did not read this. Hold on. As a quasi-member of the Nighthawks, Klein asked out of occupational interest. "Very amazing apothecary, very magical medicine." Magical? How magical? Is it within the range of beyonders? He said that it was a kind of folk medicine from Lenberg. In short, it helped with treating my illness a lot, Glasses answered, without noticing anything abnormal about the question. Folk medicine apothecary? Klein tapped his glabella twice as he was thinking. What's his name? Where does he stay? As you know, even a fortune teller can't guarantee that they would remain in the pink of health all the time. Perhaps I will need to go purchase some medication from him in the future. Well, I suppose you can rub your eyebrows if you are wearing makeup. It just, it'll just smudge it up, I suppose, Z. Klein learned from his teacher and classmates that the current health system in the world was in a nascent, I think that's how you would pronounce that, state. There was almost no cure to many diseases, so the magical medications and miraculous apothecaries still controlled the market. There was no harm in knowing more, since it could serve useful one day. His name is Lawson Darkwade. Bro, that is a beyonder name if I've ever heard one. Darkwade? Are you kidding me with this? Bro. He has a tiny store on 18 Vlad Street in Eastborough named Lawson's Folk Herb Store. Hey Milos, nice to see you, buddy. No, you're all good, no worries at all. Oh, I actually nailed it? That's based. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Klein remembered and spoke sincerely. Glasses turned around and invited him to sit beside him. At that moment, Angelica came over to serve the coffee she brewed. Compared to Southville coffee, this coffee is more fragrant, but has an inferior taste. Klein took a sip and savored it for a moment. Glasses hurriedly deliberated his words when he saw Klein and put down his white porcelain cup. Like, you see, this is the sort of stuff that I assume, like, people really fall in love with. Like, they're telling me how different coffee brands compare to each other. Like, that's a crazy amount of detail to go into. That's insanity. Most book writers or like most authors would never think of this in eternity. They'd just be like, oh, well, he had coffee. What type? Doesn't really matter. He just had coffee, period. And it wouldn't bother comparing or bother mentioning that he wanted to try every type of coffee and tea they have. Like, that's so much detail to go into. You can see why you guys love this so much. Mr. Moretti, can I request a divination from you? I will pay according to a price you set. 8 pence is sufficient. I will not raise the price out of the blue. Klein was hoping that someone would request his divination services. Do you need a divination room? I presume that is Angelica asking. All right. Topaz. Glasses led the way with much more familiarity. After entering the divination room and locking the door, Klein sat behind the long table. He asked in a serious voice, Mr. Glasses, what would you like the divination to be about? I have an investment opportunity, but the amount of money it involves is huge. If it fails, my family and I will take a heavy hit. I wish to know if it will be a successful investment. Glasses volunteered the information. I have divined using tarot cards previously. A divination after purifying my soul. The result was pretty good. Yes, I did the interpretation myself, but I did not violate the principles of those symbols. Klein thought and asked curiously, it'd be great if you could describe the entire situation once more and give me your information again. It'd be best if you have the other party's information too. We will do a astrolabe divination. CF had something going on writing LOT. Yeah, that's like a crazy amount of detail to go into. The whole, I was talking about this probably during my first stream. The whole currency system is like crazy, and they like themselves say it's like stupid, but the fact that they went into that much detail at all, the fact that a pound is 12 soli and a soli is 20 pence is like, that's crazy amount of detail to go into. It could just be a pound is a pence or whatever. There's a slight echo to my mic. Interesting. Interesting. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try just. Let me know if that's a little bit better or a little bit worse. I'm just trying to adjust the gain. The echo makes you sound majestic. Oh, that's cute. Thanks, Milos. Let me know if that's a little better or a little worse, and then I'll know accordingly how to adjust it. I like the echo, it has a calming effect. Alright, sounds better, but not too loud. But too loud. I see. Okay. 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 Okay, I'm gonna try this one more adjustment, and see if this is better. If not, I will go back to where it previously was, and I'll leave it there, and then I will figure it out in post. I just I don't want to spend too long just sitting here trying to do tech fixes. So we'll see how this is. Hopefully a little better. All right. Where was I? We will do an astrolabe divination. Alright, Glasses organized his words and said, when Mr. That's a horrid word. Okay. Lanavis examined the Hornaces mountain range, he discovered a gigantic mine rich in high-quality iron ore. He poured in all his savings to buy that land and hired a professional company to survey it. The result was a heartening one. He lacks funds needed for subsequent developments, so he formed a steelworks company and intends to apply for a loan from the bank using the project. At the same time, he will also issue a corresponding number of shares to raise its initial capital. The plan is still in its preparatory stages and promises fat returns. Fat returns. Alright, brother, at this point just say like fat stacks, who even cares? To something a bit more fitting. Wait, is Lies of POST, are they copyright free? Really? I did not know that. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna switch it to Hollow Knight very quickly, and then I will get back to reading. I promise. Sorry, give me 1 second. All right. All right, I think that should hopefully be a little better. You're absolutely right. That music is a lot more fitting. Thanks for the sassy jabs. Good to know. All right. Hopefully the voices are a little better now. If not, we will I will figure that out in post, I promise, for the echo and stuff. But if this is relatively okay, I'll leave this here for now. Okay, where was I? Yes. Klein, who had been reading the newspaper recently and also happened to be a history expert, knew that there were shares in this world. He also knew that the concept of shares was derived from Emperor Roselle. Yeah, him again. This guy. During the colonization of the southern continent, he had set up this Sibiron company and resolved the nation's fiduciary matters successfully by raising funds from the public through the issuance of shares. As such, he had the first mover's advantage from colonization. Okay, did Klein study like business in his world? Because those are some big boy business words right there. Fiduciary duty, based, first mover's advantage. Oh my god, this guy studies business, bro. Because the returns were great, the development continued on. For example, there were railway shares, mining shares, steam development shares, and so on and so forth. There were some that succeeded, and there were some that failed. Hence, catalyzed the formation of organizations like the Black Lund Stock Exchange. Besides that, Emperor Roselle had created national boards, unit trusts, and other financial products. The former had become the most stable form investment with a return of 4 to 6%. Klein remembered that Benson had once said that if he could inherit £3,000, there was no need to work any further. The stable annual interest of about 5% would result in an annual fixed income of £150, roughly equivalent to Klein's annual income at the present. That is okay. Like, you see, once again, sorry, I know I mentioned this before, but like, this is like crazy. Like, no author would ever go into this much detail about the fact that there are like what the stock exchange looks like, or the annual anticipate, or like what in this what would here be called like the risk-free rate, or like, you know, this stuff. Like, that's crazy amount of detail to go into. That's nuts. This is known as rentier capitalism. Klein sighed and asked carefully, "Are you sure there's nothing wrong about this? Is Lanovis trustworthy? I've seen his property papers and the inspection report. There is the Civilis County's government stamp and an endorsement of the professional company. Plus, inside Mr. Lanovis's office is a group photo with him, with Sir Deweyville and the mayor." Glasses nodded in reply. Group photo? That doesn't mean anything. Klein, who was born in an era of information explosion, had seen too many similar incidents. He didn't buy the story because of that. However, it didn't matter if he believed it or not. He could only pick up a pen and draw a corresponding astrolabe according to the crucial time and information that Glasses had provided. After a long while, Klein pointed to the astrolabe and said, "You should be able to tell that this is a very unsuccessful endeavor. Below the flourishing surface is a cliff, a chasm. My divination suggestion going... I presume this means to say suggests. My divination suggests going around it to avoid it." Glasses fell into silence, his mouth turning agape a few times before he closed it. A few minutes later, he said with a rueful smile, I'll consider it carefully when I'm back." Upon hearing this answer, Klein could only shake his head with a silent sigh. He realized the helplessness of a seer. A seer could only give suggestions and not make the decisions for others. Just as the two left the Topaz room, Angelica walked over and said, "Mr. Moretti, someone wishes for your divination." When she said that, she added with a whisper, "He did not ask for my recommendation, nor did he view the album. Has my reputation spread?" I'm assuming this is probably the boyfriend or the fiancé of the person that he divinated for last time, no? I think because they were interested in talking to him or meeting him, or maybe her dad or something. Alright, that is chapter 62 done. Give me 1 second, I'm just going to get a drink of water really quickly. Hey, Red, how you doing, buddy? I'm back from class, I presume? Oh, by the way, Dr. Z, I'm not sure if you saw, but I put the Discord link in the description if you're interested in joining. No pressure, obviously, but if you're interested. Alrighty. I didn't know that another streamer. Oh, yes. Oh, I presume this is the famous DSV you guys were referring to previously. Yes, you are already famous here, good sir. Alright, chapter 63. Klein proceeded a few steps forward and saw the client. He was dressed in a formal black suit and a half-top hat. He held a gold-inlaid wooden cane and his short blonde hair flared from the sides. His nose was aquiline like a hawk's beast. Oh my god, I called it. Anna's fiance. Let's go, boys. Okay, called. Anna's fiance, the Joyce Mayer that went through a terrifying ordeal. Klein, who had seen him in a dream divination, immediately greeted him with a smile. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayer. Good afternoon, Mr. Moretti. Joyce took off his hat and bowed in greeting. Thank you for the advice you gave Anna. She cannot stop praising how miraculous you are. Klein chortled and said, I did not change a thing. You should be thanking yourself. Without your determination and your hope for a better tomorrow, you wouldn't have been able to overcome such an ordeal. After the exchange of pleasantries, Klein could not help but lampoon inwardly. Does this count as mutual professional bootlicking? I think that's a bit extreme there, Klein. I think you're fine. In all honesty, I still find my coming back alive a dream. I still cannot believe that I survived wave after wave of terrifying ordeal. Joyce shook his head wistfully. Without waiting for Klein's reply, he asked curiously, You knew who I was the moment you saw me. Was that because of my unique nose, or because you divined that I would visit you? My unique nose. That's a good way to put it. You know, you're just ugly and you're like, oh, I'm unique. That's a good way to put it. I appreciate it. I had your detailed information. That is enough for a seer, Klein answered vaguely, behaving like how a charlatan would. Joyce was stunned indeed. More than 10 seconds later, he squeezed a smile. Mr. Moretti, I wish to request a divination from you. The moment he finished that sentence, he suddenly realized something. Mr. Klein Moretti had addressed himself as a seer, not a fortune teller, a seer. All right, let's head to the topaz. Klein gestured. I'm interested. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just going to look it up. I'm not sure what the difference between a seer and a fortune teller would be. Interesting. Like, in my mind, the two are like synonyms, no? I mean, it seems like the two are saying like literally the same thing. Fortune teller is the spiritual practice of predicting information about a person's life, and a seer is someone who's able to see through supernatural insight to see what the future holds. Isn't that like, I feel like the two are synonyms for each other, but I mean, I'll take your word for it. I don't know. Connecting to Discord is not easy for me. Even YouTube needs a VPN, even though I would love to. I have no... Oh, no worries, Dr. Z. Interesting. Discord, even YouTube needs a VPN? Really? That's... Oh. That's so interesting. Okay, I did not know that. Yeah, no worries at all, buddy. You're good. All right. Let us head to the topaz. At that moment, he felt as though he should have worn a long black robe. He tried to keep his words to a minimum to accentuate the mystique of a seer. Joyce Mayer locked the room behind them after entering the divination room. While he observed his surroundings, Klein seized the opportunity to tap his glabella twice and activate his spirit vision. Joyce sat down and set his cane beside him. He pulled on the black bow tie and said hoarsely, Mr. Moretti, I wish for you to interpret my dream. Dream interpretation? Klein acted as though it was within his expectations, but was merely asking for confirmation. He saw that the colors representing Joyce's health was dull, but none of them signified an impending illness. The colors symbolizing the emotions were predominantly blue, and its darkness showed that he was obviously high-strung. Because of, because of the supernatural, they are different kinds of people seeing the future. Oh, okay, so I guess the implication is that, like, they're doing the same thing, but the manner through which they do it is different, I guess. Is maybe the difference. I don't know if I'm interpreting you correctly, DSV, but at least that's what I'm getting out of it. Oh, thanks, fool. I appreciate it, bud. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to figure it out, though, and try to understand it. It's written really well. Like, I like to think I'm like pretty good with words, but like at least once a chapter I have to like look up a word because I'm like I don't know what that means. Sorry, fortune tellers are usually associated with individuals, but a seer is more generalized and with people and events. Oh, I see. So okay, so it's not limited to so like bigger scope. I see. That's a good way to put it. Thanks. See. It's more like fortune teller is said by everyone, but very people. Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense, and plus I think it kind of vaguely lines up with what it said on Google too. So that makes sense. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you. I have had the same horrific dream every night ever since the Alfalfa arrived at the Enmat Harbor. I know that this could be associated with the trauma of the ordeal and that I should go see a psychiatrist, but I suspect that this is no ordinary dream. A normal dream would definitely have some details that are different, even if they recur every night, but this dream is at the very least constant in the parts which I can recall. To a seer, these kinds of dreams are seen as revelation given by the divine, Klein said, half consoling and half explaining. Can you describe the dream to me? Joyce clenched his fists and up to his. That sentence makes no sense. That's clearly a translation error of some kind. He thought deep for a moment before saying, I dreamed that I was falling from the Alfalfa into the ocean. The ocean was dark red, as though it was filled with rotting blood. Jesus, that's a rough dream. As I fell, I was grabbed by a person on a boat. I could not identify him, but I know that he was very strong. And I was holding onto a person in an attempt to save him from falling into the sea. I know that person. He was a passenger on the Alfalfa. Eunice Kim. That does not seem like a name that would be from this world, and it feels like it would be from our world, or Ju's actual world. Interesting. You're nice to listen to. You have a good cadence with. Aw, thanks, bud. I appreciate that. I try my best. Yeah, I figured. Translation from anything is difficult, even as someone who speaks two languages. You'll notice this because different languages will phrase things differently. Like even if you're saying the same sentence, the order in which the words will go will be different. And just changing the words is doesn't just fix it in the other language too. So I totally get what you mean. I'm not blaming them by any means. Just occasionally I'll look at it and I'll go, I don't know how to read that. I don't know if I should read. So occasionally, if you guys are following along by some miracle, you'll see me ad lib on a sentence because it's not phrased kind of at least how I think it should be in English. So I'll kind of keep the essence of it, but change it a little bit. Because, sorry, I'm gonna get back to it. Because of his weight and his struggling, I could not bear the weight and could only release my hands and watch him get devoured by the sea of blood. At that moment, the person above me also released his hand. I flailed my arms hoping to grab onto something, but there was nothing. I could only plummet rapidly. Then I wake up in horror, sweat covering my back and forehead. Klein held his forehead and gently rapped it as though he was thinking. He then organized his thoughts and said, Mr. Mayor, nightmares, similar nightmares, and repeated nightmares, these are all psychological problems and have a corresponding source. The same nightmare recurring time and time again is a reminder from your spirituality. It is also a revelation given to you by the divine. Upon seeing Joyce appearing confused, he elaborated, Do not have any doubt, an ordinary person's spirituality is also capable of giving reminders. I do not know what exactly happened on the Alfalfa, but I can see that it was a tragedy of blood and steel. It has left a deep trauma in you. Previously, I had similar cases of disregarding a feeling, only to realize that the diary was with Ray Bieber. God, every time I read that name, I think that feels so out of place. like this is supposed to be like Victorian era England, and there's a guy named Ray Bieber. But I was more sensitive and had stronger spirituality. I was also more knowledgeable about mysticism and thus could make a deduction more quickly. Klein paused for a second and looked into Joyce Mayer's eyes. Did Mr. Eunice Kim, who you let fall into the sea of blood, request something of you on the boat, but was ultimately unable to escape his fate? Joyce fidgeted his body unnaturally. He opened his mouth several times before answering. God, get yourself together. You're losing aura points by the minute, Joyce. Good lord. Yes, but I do not pity him. Perhaps a few days or a week from now, you will see in the newspaper how cruel and evil he was. I am not gonna say that sentence on YouTube. I'm sorry, guys. He hurt at least 3 ladies and tossed a baby into a raging sea. Good lord, that is a rough sentence. He also led a bunch of savages who had lost their rationality and brutally massacred the passengers and crew of the boat. He was scheming, strong, and evil. I did not care, nor could I did not dare, nor could I stop him. I would have only forfeited my life. I'm not doubting what you did, Klein said, making clear his stand. Then he explained, but your dream is telling me that you are feeling regret and sorrow. You believe that you should not have released your hand back then. Since you believe that killing him was an act of justice, then why are you feeling regret and sorrow for it? So much so that you have recurring dreams about you releasing your hand. I do not know either. Joyce shook his head, confused. Klein crossed his hands and placed it under his chin. He attempted to analyze the situation. Incorporating what I just described, it seems you have missed certain details. For instance, anything that Eunice Kim mentioned, the contents of his plea, the way he presented himself, etc. I cannot recall the incident for you, so please think about it carefully. Yeah, sorry, I did not care. Yeah, sorry, my bad. I apologize. That was silly. Oh yeah, okay, so you thought of it as Justin Bieber too. Okay, that's what every time I read that, that's what I imagine in my head. Like, it's Victorian era England, everyone is walking in like suits and a top coat and everything, and there's Justin Bieber with and not even like the recent Bieber, I'm thinking like 2014 Kid Bieber, with like, you know, like a gold chain, walking around in pants that are sagging just in the middle of the street, seen by like aristocrats who are looking at him in horror. Incorporating what I just described, it seems you have missed certain details. For instance, nope, that are so please think about it carefully. Sorry. There's nothing. All he could say back then was, "Spare me, I surrender," Joyce muttered in puzzlement. Klein did not know what exactly happened, so he could only guide him based on what he understood from the dream. Perhaps you felt that Eunice Kim was more useful alive, that he could prove something or explain something. Joyce knitted his brows. It was a while before he said, "Perhaps I still find the conflict that arose from the Alfalfa happened too suddenly and turned intense too quickly. It was as if the passive evil in everyone's heart erupted uncontrollably. It was too abnormal, very abnormal. Perhaps I wish to interrogate Eunice Kim why he acted as though he was possessed by the devil in the first place." I'm not sure if this, or we're gonna get anything out of this, but like, could it be that he was possessed by one of those unknown entities or whatever that, like, they're called? Like, because it would seem like the entire situation, you know, being stranded at sea, you might want to reach out to something in the deep it's just anything that can help you. But if you reach out to like a dark unknown presence or whatever they're called, they maybe try to like take him over, or however like possessions work. I don't know, like just whatever happened to the actual Klein Moretti, and then he just went ape shit and did a lot of stuff. I don't know, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know if we get anything out of this, or like we get any more deep into this, but off the top of my head, that's where I'm thinking. Klein suddenly had a stroke of inspiration after hearing Joyce's dreamy description. He spoke mysteriously with a tone similar to a charlatan's. No, that's not the only reason. What? Joyce seemed shocked. Klein crossed his hands and held up his chin. He stared into Joyce's eyes and said with a slow yet forceful tone, "Not only did you find the matter abnormal, but you also saw some things that you disregarded. And putting together these things that you disregarded results in a terrifying solution. Your spirituality is telling you that there is someone who should be under the highest suspicion, but that person is the one who had grabbed you but ultimately released your hand in the dream. You do not suspect him subconsciously, and thus you are unable to identify him. He is your partner. He once had control over your fate, or maybe he even saved you before." Joyce leaned back, suddenly slamming into the back of his chair with a dull thud. His forehead slowly became laced with sweat. His eyes filled with confusion. I see it." Joyce suddenly stood up noisily, causing his chair to wobble and nearly fall. "Mr. Triss." He used up all his energy to utter the name. He was a friendly and bashful little boy with a round face. He was the hero that saved the survivors. Oh wait, we heard it, Mr. Triss before. Yeah, okay, that's why that name seems familiar. Okay, that makes sense. Sorry, give me 1 second. I've been reading for a little bit. Let me just catch up on some comments. What is the useful language if it doesn't help communicate? Hey, Kashi, nice to have you back, bud. Okay, username, you have a great day, buddy. Yeah, hope to maybe catch you later. A good theory. Okay, well that's good. I'm not just doing dumb stuff. Triss compared to only knowing one dialect. Yeah. Joyce's expression changed several times. He finally returned to normal, a normal that had a little paleness. He revealed a rueful smile. "I understand now. Thank you for interpreting my dream. Perhaps it is time for me to make a trip to the police station." He took out his leather wallet and fished out a 1 solai note. "I do not think that money can fully represent your worth, and I can only give you the price you asked for. This is for you." Joyce pushed the note towards Klein. "I wouldn't have minded if you gave me 10 pounds. 1 solai, you sure are like your fiancé." Klein kept up his mysterious vibe as a charlatan and said nothing, smiling as he pressed on the note. Joyce took a deep breath, wore his hat, and turned to the door. As he was unlocking the door, he suddenly turned back and said with sincerity, "Thank you, Master Moretti." "Master?" Klein laughed to himself. He watched as Joyce left the divination room and said silently, "Whatever happened on the Alfalfa seems extraordinary. If only the captain was there, he would be able to understand everything that happened in Joyce Mayer's dream." Tuesday at dawn, Blacklun. Empress Burrow. Audrey, who woke up earlier, beckoned her golden retriever Susie over. She said with a serious tone, "Susie, you are also a Beyonder now. We are the same kind." "Ew, no, that's not what I meant. We have to help each other. Guard the door later and don't let anyone disturb me. I have to conduct a ritual." Susie looked at her mistress and shook her tail in exasperation. And that is chapter 63 done. Ooh, did someone have a presentation today? Was that you, Mari? Did you have a presentation, bud? Or wait, are you asking about mine, Khajiit? Because I had one 2 days ago. Oh, you might be asking about mine. Sorry. You is crazy. Well, in fairness, you say we're the same kind to a dog. You might, instinctually say ew. So, take that with a grain of salt. In fairness, Susie got that dog in her. Based. Chapter 64. Alright, I'm gonna try to get through 64 and 65 today. I feel pretty good. My throat isn't hurting as much as I expected it to. Give me 1 second before I start though, guys. While I start, quick question for you guys: is there any like videos on LOTM that you'd like to see, or anything, or like anything like that? Because obviously I'm really early in, so what I can make is heavily restricted and limited. So with that being said, all right, I'm gonna get started on chapter 64. After instructing her golden retriever, Susie, Audrey paced around, seemingly worried. She was too uncertain if the ritualistic magic would result in anything odd. Let's do this. Her eyes turned calm as she used her state as a bystander to view the imagined process. Sorry, I thought for a second that was a misspelling of beyonder, and then I realized it was her as a spectator, so it was bystander. Soon she came to a new arrangement. Audrey unlocked the door to her bedroom and said, Susie, sit here. If any and the rest try to barge their way in, immediately go to the bathroom to inform me. In order to prevent any accidents, her personal maidservants had the key to unlock her door. Susie looked at her enigmatically and wagged her tail thrice. Very good. I will let you choose anything you want for lunch today. Audrey pumped her fists. After exhorting Susie, she entered the bathroom. The square bathtub was 3 to 4 meters on each side. 3 to 4 meters? Jesus Christ, that is a massive bathtub. That's somewhere between 9 and 16 meters squared. That is a huge bathtub. What the fuck? There was clear water rippling gently in it with steam emitting from it. It was quite a dreamy sight. Sorry, that was a weird thing to get hung up on. That just threw me off. 3 to 4 meters aside is massive. What the hell? Immediately after that, she closed the bathroom door. With everything done, Audrey heaved a sigh of relief and picked up a translucent light blue bottle beside the 4 candles. The cylindrical bottle shimmered dreamily under the light. In it was the essence oils she had distilled from the mixture yesterday. As an aficionado of mysticism, she had no lack of research regarding such items. She had seen many different kinds of pure dew, flower essence, perfume, essence oils, and incense that she brewed herself at home. As such, she had already finished the initial preparations according to the fool's instructions. Moonflowers, gold mint, slumber flowers, fingered citron, and rock rose. What an odd concoction, Audrey mumbled softly. One has to cleanse one's body and calm their mind before engaging in ritualistic magic. This is a form of reverence to the divine, to the target. Okay, so they're already starting to see like Klein as like a god or a equivalent like being. As she went through the entire process in her head, she placed the ritual's essential oil beside her bathtub. She reached out and began disrobing what she wore at home. Whoa, she's a child, okay? Get yourselves together, you freak. God. Pieces of her silk clothing fell into the laundry basket one after another. Audrey coiled up her hair into a bun and tested the water's temperatures with her hand. Then she carefully stepped into the bathtub, allowing her body to slowly sink into the water's warm embrace. Phew! She exhaled comfortably, finding herself warm all over. God, this is... What is the fan service happening here, bro? Oh my god, why does she have to do this in the bathroom? Just do this somewhere else. I don't even want to move a single finger. Audrey forcibly pumped herself out as she grabbed the translucent light blue bottle beside her and dripped a few drops in the water. A waft of fragrance dispersed, filling the silence with a refreshing smell. Audrey breathed in a few times and nodded in satisfaction. Not bad, it smells really good. How relaxing, how comfortable. I don't want to move at all. All I wish is to lie here in silence. Silence. In silence. Silence. After losing her sense of time, Audrey suddenly heard barking. Hold on, did she just fall asleep in the bathtub here? What is happening? She opened her eyes in shock, looking to the sides in a daze. She had no idea when Susie had opened the door and entered. She was squatting in the bathtub looking at her with an exasperated look. As she rubbed the corners of her eyes, Audrey felt that the water had cooled down significantly. I fell asleep, she said subconsciously. Susie looked at her without barking or wagging her tail. The effects of that bottle of the ritual essential oils sure is great. Yeah, great, Audrey chuckled dryly. As she explained with a cheerful tone, she stood up, retrieved a towel, and wrapped herself and wiped her body. Said to the golden retriever beside her, Susie, continue watch. Don't let Annie and the rest enter. Only when the golden retriever left did she secretly stick out her tongue. She then threw her towel aside and wore a clean white robe. After cleaning the door to the bathroom, Audrey recalled the ritual she had memorized. She picked up the 4 candles and placed them on the 4 corners. A loaf of white bread at the top left, a bowl of Potter noodles at the top right. Smells great, but still a little cold. No, not the time to think about this. Paella at the bottom left and desi pie at the bottom right. Audrey set up the altar according to the fool's descriptions seriously, shaking her head twice in the process. After she was done with the preparation, she lit her 4 candles. She picked up a silver knife and stabbed it into a pile of coarse salt. After narrating the sacred incantation in Hermes, Audrey raised the knife with beautiful patterns and placed it into a cup filled with clear water. After focusing her mind, she pulled out the silver sacred blade, cogitating her spirituality to spew out and spread from her blade. Invisible energy spewed out as Audrey held the knife and circled the altar. When she felt that a spirituality wall was fully erected around her, she expelled all the uncleanliness and distractions outside. Maintaining her spectator state, she prevented her excitement and joy from affecting the ritual. She put down the silver knife and picked up the tiny blue crystalline bottle and dripped a drop on each candle. A faint fragrance emanated as Audrey's body, heart, and soul seemed to attain tranquility. She drew a breath as she lowered her head in reverence and began chanting the incantation in Hermes. You are the fool that doesn't belong to this era. You are the mysterious ruler above the gray fog. You are the king of yellow and black who wields good luck. I pray for your help. I pray for your loving grace. I pray for you to give me a good dream. Moonflower, an herb that belongs to the red moon. Please bestow your powers to my incantation. Fingered Citron, an herb that belongs to the sun. Please bestow your powers to my incantation. Right after Audrey chanted the incantation and hoped to cogitate the contents of her plea, she felt there was a stir within the spirituality wall. She saw a dark red star swirling on the back of her hand. Her heart leaped as she hurriedly closed her eyes and calmed her heart to plead sincerely. When everything was over, she surveyed her surroundings wondrously, but did not find anything odd. Is that all? Audrey knitted her eyebrows slightly as she whispered. Wait, hold on. You're telling me you guys read this and you didn't read it like fan service? No shot. That was so descriptive. That's nuts. If this was in like a shonen manga, you guys would be reading this and going, "Oh, I would never read this crap." Come on. I'm not judging too harshly. I get it. Like they said, it was like yeah, no worries, Z. Good having you, buddy. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Yeah, like that's crazy. They went into such detail. No shot. Okay. Where was I? Is that all? The king of yellow and black who wields good luck, the fool that doesn't belong to this era. In the Blue Avengers captain cabin, Alger Wilson in his windstorm robe was silently reciting the 3 lines of description he had heard in the afternoon. He seemed to be attempting to find clues of the person's identity through it. Okay, so that's exactly what he was concerned about, bro. Milos, I really don't need to know that, man. Come on, get it together. God, stop gooning. He shook his head and stood up in a clearly vexed manner, but ultimately did not do anything. Alger was not at ease inside the Blue Avenger, an ancient ship that was a relic of the Tudor dynasty. Although he was already in control of the ship, he had a gut feeling there were still many hidden secrets, just like the Blood Emperor. Therefore, he planned on using the ship to test the fool's powers, but did not wish to attempt the unknown ritualistic magic on the ship. I don't know how he wanted to test the fool's power. Oh, he probably just means like the actual ritual. I see. Okay, sorry, I'm just reading that weird. Alger ruminated for a few minutes before leaving the ship captain's cabin and went on deck. He said to the few sailors, "We will be reaching the Rorstead archipelago soon. We will be anchoring there for a day." Archipelago, is that like a One Piece reference, or am I just thinking too deep into that? The sailors immediately cheered as they shouted in unison, "Thank you, Your Grace." As the ghost ship did not need sailors, there were very few sailors on board. There was no need to worry about supplies, being able to enjoy fresh food and water every day. Wait, how are they able to enjoy fresh food and water every day? Why is there no need to worry about the supplies? Is it just because there's very few people on board, or like, does the ghost ship just give you food and water? What? However, days after voyaging at sea and the nearly unending vistas exhausted them both physically and mentally. It felt like they were always repressed and tolerating something until they lost control. As for the Rorstead archipelago, it was a famous colony on the Sonia Sea. Their business was booming and they had all kind of industry. I simply can't wait. A crew member gyrated his hips and sniggered. Meaningful laugh at that all the men would understood. Gyrated. That's a choice word, bro. Oh, no, sorry. I know it's... sorry, I do know that archipelago is a real word. I just don't hear it said very often, and someone did say there are One Piece references in here, so I was wondering if that was just one of them or that was just like a thing. On the public carriage towards Zoutland Street, Klein, who was reading a newspaper leisurely, suddenly jolted. He seemed to hear an ethereal voice calling out to him. Shapeless murmurs resounded in his mind as his forehead throbbed uncontrollably. The contents of the calling that could not be heard as fast as it came. In just 10 seconds it was gone. Klein pinched his forehead and resisted the throbbing pain deep inside his brain. Is this the murmurings of unknown existence that old Neil mentioned? A result of having enhanced spiritual perception? Thoughts flashed through Klein's mind as he suddenly saw 4 black dots appear on the back of his right hand. They were like tiny, inconspicuous moles. Oh, this is because Audrey is attempting the thing on her end. And the 4 black dots that stemmed from the luck enhancement quickly sank, dimmed, and vanished. Klein looked at it in surprise and had additional guess about what just happened. Justice or the Hanged Man has attempted the ritualistic magic I gave them? Was my train of thought right? Are those three descriptions have precisely pointed towards me through the mysterious space above the grey fog? But I'm far from powerful enough. I can't hear the contents of their request. I wonder if the information is stored above the grey fog. Yes, I should confirm it by entering tonight. Okay, DSV, so it was just the small crew. Okay, that's what I figured. But I'm also curious what exactly is the difference between like a ship and a ghost ship. Like, is it is there just literally ghosts walking around? Someone said it like steers itself or like doesn't need a, and like is that the only difference? Klein felt a little perturbed and agitated. He quickly raised his newspaper and hid his face, preventing anyone from seeing the changes to his expression. Soon he arrived at Zoutland Street and entered the Blackthorn Security Company. Before he could greet Roseanne, Klein saw the captain walk out. He held a piece of paper with a portrait on it. Okay, so I'll see OP references later, not now. Okay, makes sense. Thanks, buddy. The sketch was of a boy with a round face. He looked amiable with a tiny hint of bashfulness. Oh, this is Triss. Dope, okay. Triss, a suspected Beyonder. The initial estimate is that he's a sequencer level 8. Instigator. Oh, wow. So that guy wasn't even just... he was not only just not praying to an evil thing, he was an instigator. So this means, like, he can set people off, at least based off the name. And since they say the names are meaningful, and we're not eliminating the possibility that the Theosophy Order is behind it, the culprit behind the massacre of the Alfalfa. According to a witness testimony, he came to Tingen after leaving Enmat Harbor. His current whereabouts are unknown. Triss, Alfalfa? It's actually a crime committed by a Beyonder. Klein suddenly recalled the dream interpretation from yesterday afternoon. Joyce Mayer's description. He immediately said, "Captain, I know one of the witnesses. He might very well be an important witness." I know, Joyce Mayer. My help was requested by the Machinery Hive Mind yesterday. Seriously, a Machinery Hive Mind. This has gotta be like a 40k reference. I refuse to believe otherwise. I saw you in Joyce's dream. Many details have led to the confirmation that the Alfalfa tragedy was a result of Triss. Dunn's grey eyes looked perturbed as he chuckled. How uninteresting, Captain. Thankfully, it was my rest day yesterday and not me acting as a seer during working hours, Klein lampooned. He barely missed the horror of being caught skydiving by his... Wait, no, not skydiving. What did I just read? Skiving. I do not know this word. Sorry. Oh, skiving. Avoid work or duty by staying away or leaving early. Okay, like shirking duty. I see. Okay. He asked instead, which sequence pathways instigator? What kind of organization is the Theosophy Order? Was instigating others to kill each other the method Triss used to eliminate the side effects of the potion, or was it a requirement needed to advance? Dunn thought for a few seconds and said, coincidentally, it's about time for you to learn the relevant information regarding Beyonders and the mysterious organizations. You shouldn't be ordered by old Neil to keep reading the historical documents all the time. Captain, wasn't the reason for you, for recruiting me to be your history expert? Klein did not dare point out the problem as he nodded. All right. In fairness, I feel like he should have some idea for this stuff, and Neil should not have to keep telling you. That is kind of fair. Like, bros, just do your job. Okay. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm just gonna drink some water. Yeah, I think this is definitely gonna be the last chapter. I can feel my throat starting to get a little down in the dumps. Okay. All right, you have a good night, buddy. I hope I'll see you tomorrow. I'll stream tomorrow too. I'm home, so we'll figure out a time that works best for everybody. I get that Word document ready. Okay, sounds good, Milos. Okay, on that note, let me pull it up really quickly. Give me a second. Okay. If it's really heavy and stuff, I'm gonna apologize in advance because you guys are gonna hear me type away at it for like a lot of cuts, and I apologize. Just want to make sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna every day that I'm live, unless like my throat's stopping me or something, I'm gonna try to do 5 chapters. Because that's like a significant decrease from what my actual reading speed looks like if I'm not like reading out loud. When I was just reading, I did about 20 chapters in a day, and that felt like okay. Like it was a day that I had some free time, so probably couldn't do that on average. But like to go from 20 to 5 is like that's cutting my speed into a quarter, so that's wild. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do 5 a day to try to, because I think you guys said it's like, it means you're dedicated. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I'm just gonna. The reason I just say that is because I have a mechanical keyboard, which means that it's loud when I type. So if I start typing for a decent bit, I'll just move my mic away so you guys don't have to hear that. Okay. All right. Let's get started. Chapter 65. With a document signed by Dunn, Klein went underground and turned to the armory. Dunn is right. It's time you understand the different Beyonders and the various secret organizations. Dressed in a black classic robe, old Neil read the note without finding it surprising. Instead, he supported the captain's decision. He then added immediately with a smile, "After all, you will be heading to the underground market with me tomorrow night. Hey, let's go! We'll hopefully get some good stuff tomorrow. That'd be based. Okay. Well, hopefully he can get some like stuff to help him get stronger or whatever. Although my understanding is that he can't really do anything until the potion is digested. So I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if they'll just let us know when it's fully digested or how the hell he would know. I don't know. But like I'm sure they'll tell me later. Tomorrow night, Klein did not conceal his pleasant surprise as he asked to confirm. Old Neil nodded and said with a sigh, I'm a person who can't sleep when in debt. I always wish to settle with them as soon as I can. You did not seem to act so previously. You left it to the last minute before using ritualistic magic to resolve the problem. So I'm not the only one suffering from procrastination. Wait, is there a need to euphemize? Afraid to spend the money to repay a loan? Euphemize. Is that the word I'm thinking of? Is it spelled like that? Refer to something unpleasant by means of a euphemism. Okay, because I was thinking euphemism and I was like, I don't think that's how you spell that, but it's a reference to something bad via a euphemism. That's a complex word. Klein did not expose old Neil and instead urged, Mr. Neil, I'll be troubling you to retrieve the corresponding information from Chanis Gate. There were mostly archaeological and historical documents in the armory. There were documents involving Beyonders and the mysterious organizations, but few in number. Furthermore, they were mostly basic knowledge. Old Neil slowly took a sip from his hand-ground coffee and smacked his lips. He then walked out the armory with the signed and stamped document. Klein watched the place on his behalf. About 10 minutes later, old Neil returned with a huge stack of documents. They can only be read in here. They are not to be taken out, he warned as he placed the information on the desk. All right, Klein gave a firm nod. He extended his hand and quickly flipped through the pages and did a general read-through. As expected, very detailed as expected of the Nighthawk's internal documents, as expected of a church with 4,000 years history, or even more. Klein sighed inwardly as he glanced through the documents. Not only did the documents introduce the various secret organizations, it also listed down many of the sequence pathways. It was very complete. Some of them only wrote the potion name of the corresponding sequence, while others described the Beyonder abilities of the corresponding sequence. Some were completely missing and left blank. While holding back his excitement, Klein found the sequence pathway that led from Seer. He ruffled through the pages and found a familiar word. Then his delightful expression quickly froze because there was no corresponding potion name, sequence 7 and 8 after Seer. Thankfully, the abilities of the following two sequences are present, as he calmed his mind and read the description. Sequence 8, potion name unknown. The corresponding Beyonder is good at fighting with artifice and very crafty. Is good at fighting with... Sorry, you see, this is what I mean. Like, I feel like I'm good at English, and then I read this and I go, alright, maybe I'm just not that good. I don't know. I mean, I'm... cunning or cunning devices, especially used to trick. Okay, so like is good at deception. Okay. Sorry. I'm just gonna write down that we don't know what Klein Seer sequence 8. Sorry, I'm gonna move this away. I feel like this is gonna annoy the shit out of you guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Good at fighting with artifice. This is the next advancement of Seer. Why does it feel odd? I'm not a hunter. Am I going to become a melee mage? What does crafty mean? My intelligence is enhanced, making me good at fooling the enemy? Klein was stunned. He even suspected that the Nighthawk's information was wrong. There were corresponding case studies appended, but he did not find a reasonable explanation despite reading them repeatedly. He cast his gaze lower as the description of sequence 7 entered his eyes. Potion name unknown. The corresponding Beyonder is good at many spells that can be cast quickly. Fuses one's body skills and supernatural powers as one. Interesting. Okay. Alright. Sequence 7 unknown. Able to cast spells in quick succession. Dope. So that's more like it. This is what an advancement of a seer should look like. Klein heaved with a sigh of relief. After seeing the case study of Sequence 7, he cast his eyes to the overall description of the pathway. This sequence pathway was first established by the Solomon Empire's Zaratul family during the conflicts of the Fourth Epoch. The family was not fully destroyed. The family's name was occasionally heard in the history of the Fifth Epoch. It is suspected to be connected to the ancient organization, the Secret Order. Sorry, I'm just gonna copy-paste this all together. I don't think this in particular should be necessary, but I mean, I'll have it there. It's not gonna do any harm. Zaratul. Upon seeing this name, Klein's eyes constricted. He had just seen this name appear in the remnant diary pages of Emperor Roselle yesterday afternoon. Roselle's acting came from a reminder by the mysterious figure known as Zaratul. Because of that mysterious Zaratul, Emperor Roselle regretted not choosing Seer. Therefore, I was indirectly influenced, turning me into a Seer. It's making acting return to the embrace of the Seer. It feels like it was all predestined. Klein knitted his eyebrows and felt that things were somewhat different. Just from the logical chain, he did not feel that there was anything wrong in any aspect. However, in the domain of mysticism, predestiny often manifested things and involved new problems. Write down as much as you can. Yeah, I wrote it down. I just you're better making notes than I was. I was talking about this in Jesus Christ, that is not what I meant to open. Sorry. Nope, go away. I was talking about this in the Discord. I started making notes as soon as in one of the chapters it said that Captain Dunn was Beyonder of Sequence 7 Nightmare. I was like, bro, I gotta write this down or I'm gonna forget immediately. There's no chance I'm remembering that. Okay, sorry. Just from the logical chain, he did not feel that there was anything wrong in any aspect. However, in the domain of mysticism, predestiny often manifested things and involved new problems. In addition, transmigration is quite a baffling matter. It's just confusing. And the guy I've possessed tried to commit suicide because of the lost notebook of the Secret Order. Klein thought for quite a while and had many guesses, but lacked the information needed to prove them. Phew! After repeatedly reading the information, he finally suppressed his ideas and read the other records. He found the first Sailor sequence and discovered that it indeed belonged to the Lord of Storms. I think Alger has the Sailor sequence, right? I think. For an old opponent that they hadn't faced for perhaps more than 200 or 300 years, the Nighthawk's internal records were rather detailed. Sequence 8, did it? Yeah, I think this is Alger, so I'm going to put it under his. I don't know for sure. Sailor sequence. Sorry, I'm going to move this again. Give me 2 seconds. Sailor sequence 8, Folk of the Rage. Beyonder can release strikes that exceed ordinary thresholds when enraged. Speed are enhanced. So, okay, well, I'm not, like, okay. I get that, like, this is cool in, like, a basic level, like, okay, you're stronger and faster and whatever, but, like, relative to everyone else's powers, that seems so boring, right? Like, you just, like, this corresponding can release strikes that exceed ordinary threshold when enraged. That just describes an adrenaline rush. That's so boring. Sequence 7. Seafarer. Scholar of astronomy and geography. Never gets lost at sea. Bro, that sounds so cringe. You just can, like, you just don't get lost at sea? That's the extent of your powers at sequence 7? Captain Dunn is like, well, that's true, but like sequence 7, they don't get lost at sea and are good at like astronomy and geography. Captain Dunn is out here like intruding people's nightmares and like seeing their dreams and making them believe shit. And this motherfucker is like, oh yes, you see, I can look at the North Star and know I'm looking north. I'm like, bro, come on. And that's so funny. They are friends of the water and can act freely underwater for more than half an hour. They can cast a limited number of water-related spells. Some are as a result of their own capabilities, and some are bestowment from the Lord of Storm. Okay, like that's kind of cool. They can cast a number of water-related spells. Like I assume that means like they can do some like cool water mage stuff. So like okay, that's kind of cool. Can okay. Oh wait, sorry. Kami said all the pathways are equal as a whole. Okay, so that's okay. That's kind of cool to know. So there's no like theoretical wrong pick. It's just like at a certain point in time, someone can be stronger than you from a stronger sequence. Like a 7 of one thing can be stronger than a 7 of another, but like either I don't know what the last number, I don't know if that would be like a 1 or a 0, because there's the Fool. I'm gonna assume 0 is the strongest. So the 0 of every sequence is the same. Okay, like that's okay, that's cool to know. Thanks, bud. Sequence 7 Seafarer is very strong. Really? Again, like the water spells are cool, but like is very strong? Motherfucker can look in the sky and go, look at the North Star and go, I'm going north? That's very strong? Okay. He suspected that the Hanged Man was a guardian of the windstorm, if not a seafarer, so either sequence 8 or 7. From how he has recently advanced, it was more likely he was the latter. This is also indicated in a way that the Hanged Man was either a member of the mandated Punisher or a pirate who had been secretly absorbed by the Church of the Lord of Storms. Interesting. Okay, so I don't know. Okay, like a pirate is kind of self-explanatory. Mandated Punisher. I don't know what that is. I'm going to assume that's one of the secret organizations, and we just don't have too much detail on that yet. Impressive. Klein flipped back a few pages and found the advancement of Spectator. He discovered that the description was identical to what the Hanged Man had said. Spectator 9 was like a seer. They lacked direct combat means, and could only observe a target to gain information. Gleaned the true thoughts of a target. By doing so, they could provide subtle influences and guidance to cause situations to develop in a way they wish. are equals to Nighthawks in the Church of the Storm. Ah, makes sense. Thanks, bud. Okay. Sequence. Okay. Audrey. 9 spectator. No combat means and can observe the true thoughts of a target and subtly influence. Sequence 8, telepathic. Wait, was someone else not telepathic? No, I'm just making that up. Okay. Sequence 8, telepathic. The observation was not only and can understand a person's thoughts like they could read their minds. Okay, like that's cool. 7, psychiatrist. You go from telepathic to I have a job. Alright, you need better names, bro. Psyche analyst. I mean, same thing. That's kind of further enhancements above sequence 8. By the way, I'm obviously joking, guys. Just oh, sorry, buddy. I just say bud to everyone. I apologize. For instance, they could they could directly begin influence a target. They could treat a target's maniacal problems, or alternatively cause them to turn maniacal and lose reason. That's cool. Okay. Can directly influence a target, either give Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry, Kami, I'll stop doing that. Sorry, it's literally just how I talk. A Beyonder that is very difficult to be noticed. After reading the description, Klein made a reasoned judgment. After understanding the relevant information concerning the gathering's members, he flipped to the Church of the God of Steam and Machinery. This was because Emperor Roselle had chosen their Savant sequence. Sequence 9, Savant. The corresponding Beyonder believes that knowledge is power. They have a rough understanding of the supernatural, but are more knowledgeable about Aqua Regia. What the f is that, bro? Nitroglycerin and complicated bolts and gears. They seem to know everything. Okay, so that would make sense. Nitroglycerin, that would help with, like, is, please also add groups under the churches if you can. We can help groups under the churches. Oh, okay. Yes, I will. I'm gonna leave that for now. I might get your guys' help to do that later, because I honestly don't even know where to start with that right now. But yeah, I can definitely do that. That might come in handy. I should have thought of that. Thanks, Mari. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna look up what Aqua Regia is really quickly. Nitroglycerin, that would be cool for explosions and stuff. Complicated bolts and gears, so that can help him like make complicated machinery, because I presume when he came in there was not a lot of tech or kind of machines or stuff, so if he can start like making them, that'd be kind of cool. Aqua Regia, it's a... Bro, it's hydrochloric acid and nitric acid? Am I in chemistry class? What the f is happening here, bro? What? Oh, come on. Give me a fucking break, bro. I got like a 70 in chemistry, okay? This is not my strong suit. It is no wonder that Emperor Roselle said that this potion suited him perfectly, allowing him to press his advantage to the fullest. Klein understood completely as he shifted his eyes down. After several case studies, the corresponding sequence 8 finally appeared in Klein's vision. Archaeologists, they possess a great deal of knowledge about history and outdoor survival, as well as forbidden knowledge about ruins. They have a strong enough body and ability to face everything. That's really dope. So like, you get a good knowledge, you get like good history and survival skills, and you get a great body, and that's based. That's like a great sequence, and like sequence 8, that's not very high up at all. That's cool. Sorry, I'm gonna just type that up too, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Roselle, non-savant knowledge of chemistry. 8 archaeologist knowledge of history and ruins. Body, face, everything. Sequence 7, Appraiser. They can intuitively understand the powers and problems of most extraordinary items and can use them while keeping danger at the lowest. Wow, okay, so like that means he can use like high level, like forbidden artifacts or whatever they're called in the church, and not worry too much about like how their impacts or like how it's going to affect him. That's cool. As Klein's security clearance was insufficient, he had only access to sequence pathways up to 7. It left him a little frustrated, but there was no way around it. He only wished that Blackland would quickly send over the sealed artifact 249 to determine if Ray Bieber was a descendant of the indigenous family. Sorry, I'm a literal child. Every time that name comes up, I'm gonna laugh. Okay, so I can't help it. Oh, Light. Nice to have you, buddy. Basic, they're good at science, chemistry, gear. Yeah, exactly. Like, so far, at least off the top of my head, this one, this savant sequence seems like the best. Like, you get a rough understanding of like chemistry and like gears and bolts, so that means like you can make stuff, and you have understanding of like chemistry is like understanding of like, you know, everything at like a molecular level because you understand how stuff interacts, so that's cool. And then 7 is just dope because you get like great knowledge, forbidden knowledge about ruins, and a strong enough body. That's like based. So far I like this best, but like you guys said, they're all equal, so I appreciate that, but still. To determine if Ray Bieber was a descendant of the indigenous family. That way he would have a chance of becoming a formal member and obtain a higher security clearance. Collecting himself, Klein read the material seriously from cover to cover. He knew that the sequence following Corpse Collector was Gravedigger and Spirit Medium. I think I already have this written down, but let me confirm. Oh shit, where is it? No, I don't. Corpse Collector, and then it is, hold on. Wait, where did I read this? I just lost my mind. Okay. Gravedigger and Spirit Medium. He knew that there was no information about Sequence 8 of the Mystery Prior Path. Not only was there no name for the potion, but even the description had been left blank. There was a name for the Sequence 7 of that path, Warlock. Mystery Prior... Unknown 7. Okay, Warlock is just a dope name, okay? I don't know what powers it gives or anything, but that's a dope title to have, okay? Sounds impressive. Klein slowly flipped the page and saw Apprentice and Marauder, which Emperor Roselle had lingering thoughts for. Their records only reach sequence 8 and nothing more. Oh, for Jesus Christ, you guys weren't kidding. There's so much in one chapter. Like, 9. Apprentice. Their abilities are rather strange. It can only be confirmed that this is the originating pathway from mage. They are rarely trapped and very difficult to be stopped. They often are able to escape and pass through obstacles every time. I don't even know what, so like, we don't even know powers. Okay, so I'm just gonna say 8, Trick Master. They wield all kinds of strange but impotent spells. That's so funny. Have impotent spells. I don't, like, what do I write for that, bro? Come on. Sequence 9, Marauder. Difficult to separate these Beyonders from ordinary bandits and thieves. Bro, imagine risking your lives to get superpowers and then they're like, oh bro, that's just a regular thief. What a joke. Get shit on. Perhaps the means available to them are more impressive, but their goals of stealing riches is not for enjoyment or survival. It's more like answering a call. Bro, like, you drink that and then you have to act like a bandit. That's so funny. Oh my god. Oh, that is some broke mentality, bro. Sequence 8, Sequencers. They have also discovered traces of Beyonders in fraud investigations. They gain enjoyment from swindling. Enron management? What is this, bro? Gain enjoyment from swindling. This is acting in a different form, isn't it? If I had the choice, I might have chosen Apprentice. Really? We don't even have a thing. We don't even know what they get, bro. Klein silently said to himself. Suddenly, he discovered the corresponding sequence of the culprit of the Alfalfa tragedy, Triss, the instigator. Yeah, like troll pathway. What a joke. Like Trickmaster's a joke. Like you wield a strange but impotent spells, like useless spells. Great, thanks. And then sequence 9 for Marauder is literally a thief. That's so funny. Oh my god. Alrighty, well that is chapter 65 done, boys. Alright, yes, thank you for the music suggestion. I can't, someone said, who said this to me? This is gonna bug me if I don't know. Oh, come on. No. Oh, yes. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you, Kami. That was you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think that's a lot better. It definitely suits the vibe a lot more. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna end it here. Thank you so much for joining. I will once again stream tomorrow. I'll try to get through another 5 chapters tomorrow. We'll try to get to the end of 70. Depending on if I wake up really early, we might end up doing. So the answer is I don't really have a schedule yet. I'm sure I will eventually have to develop one because it obviously makes it a lot easier for everybody. But with my school schedule so up in the air, it's kind of a 50-50. Tomorrow I don't have classes, for example, so it'll literally just have to be like whatever time works best for the most of you. I can just do it then tomorrow. Like, part of me is like, if you guys are able to join, I might do one like early, at least early in the morning for me, and then one in the afternoon too, so I can try to get through 10 chapters tomorrow. But yeah, again, it'll just have to be. If you guys can join the Discord, I'll figure out what time to stream then, and then give you guys as much of a heads up as I can, obviously, and then we'll go forward from there. All right. Once again, thanks everyone so much for joining, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night, depending on wherever you are. All right. See you, boys and girls.